Moms ask me all the time, how do I talk to my child about their diagnosis or challenge? And what I want to say first is, you know better than anyone as your child's mom what their strengths are and their superpowers are. So focusing in on that is key. And you probably already know that, but I want to help you out with this from a neuroscience perspective. So from a neuroscience perspective, if your child has a diagnosis of ADHD, or anything like even ASD, mild ASD, or anything like that, they often have above average intelligence. They usually have fast processing speed, and they're usually good with academics, and they have high energy, they're risk takers, and so forth. So pointing those skills out to them is going to make a massive difference. Pointing out, okay, look, you have this highly overdeveloped left brain. That's why you're so good at math, or so good at chess, or so good at puzzles and solving problems. It's why you're so good at remembering all of these facts that you remember of. I'm thinking of like my ASD kids. But at the same time, the reason you're going to have a little more challenges that we need to work on is because your right brain is a little bit weaker because your left brain is so super strong. And pointing out to them that everybody has weaknesses and strengths. I did that a lot with different kids I've worked with in the past few months, is really pointing out people we know and what are their strengths and what are their weaknesses. And it helps them to realize we all have work to do. Now, for the kids who have learning disabilities, dyslexia, and so forth, they tend to have an overdeveloped right brain, weaker left brain. So they'll struggle usually more with learning, reading, writing, all of that type of stuff. But the right brain, which governs social, emotional intelligence, also where the visual cortex is, all that type of stuff. So these kids are good at just connecting with others. They have really good social skills. Teachers will also often comment, oh my goodness, this kid is such a nice kid. They're so polite, they're so well-mannered. And these are the kids, they might be really good at theater, or they might also be the kids who are really good at things that are visual, like robotics, Legos, building, mechanics, visual arts, dance, drama I mentioned, and so forth. They're usually very artsy type kids, or hands-on type kids. So pointing out, look, kids with dyslexia or learning disabilities are like the engineers, they're the architects, they're the artists, and we need those people. So pointing out that you have this incredible superpower, but because when we have these superpowers, they also have a bit of a weakness as well. So if you have a child who has inattentive ADHD, so formerly known as ADD, pointing out, look, you're so imaginative that you have a hard time focusing, especially when stuff gets boring, because your brain just wants to be, whoa, I'm out of here because this is just not interesting enough. So let me know if that makes sense, what your child's superpowers are. And if you want to learn more about how to get your child assessed through my neurofunctional brain screening, send me a DM and I will send you the details.